Good afternoon. It is Tuesday afternoon and we've had a pretty busy, productive morning. I'll show you what we've started and then I'll tell you about the rest of what's going on. Charity was working on cutting up the tomatoes and the onions. We're making salsa, and this is going to be an 8 times batch. So this should yield 14 quarts. That's our goal. 14 quarts of salsa. And we still have a lot of tomatoes out in the garden, but the first priority was salsa. Art loves his salsa, so we always put the priority on making salsa first thing in the year. Then after the salsa, we'll work on probably making tomato sauce, followed by just canning tomatoes. We'll see how far our tomato crop will last because they're still in the ripening stages, but we had all these tomatoes come due all at the same time. And Charity and Art are so much alike. They absolutely love picking produce. Boy, this looks like it has a smear on it. They love picking the produce, which is good because I like planting, I like weeding, and they enjoy the harvesting part. So Charity went out and picked up this huge bowl. You guys know our huge metal bowls that we use for all of our gardening. That was full, overflowing full of tomatoes. So she wanted to get that going, at least start it. She's on call right now, so she started the process. Okay, you can go potty, honey. And then I'm working on finishing it up. So as we were assembling everything for the salsa, we realized because of whatever that disease was that got on our green peppers, we lost our green peppers. We don't have any green peppers for the salsa, which meant in order to finish the salsa, I had to go to the grocery store to get green peppers and tomato sauce. If you haven't seen this recipe, I'll put the link in the description below. I have a printable version. This is the recipe we make all the time. You don't have to cook it. You just pretty much chop everything up and put it in a pressure canner, and then it cooks right inside the jars for you. So it's really, really a simple recipe, and it has that garden fresh flavor that we absolutely love every year. I was in the process of working on sorting out the books for the bookshelf because it's that time of year where we have to take out our school books from last year and get all of this sorted. So I've been sort of trying to work a little bit here, a little bit there, pulling out the old stuff. You can see it's just in here for the time being. The kids, as they find things laying around, often just put them right here, little miscellaneous odds and ends. So that's something that I have to sort out here, but I started this, and this is the pile of books we're working on going through, probably getting passing on some of them, etc., etc. So that's what that is. But then I had to go to the grocery store, and so I went to the grocery store for some broccoli because, well, our broccoli got eaten by the woodchuck. And then you need tomato sauce for the salsa. And then I picked up a bunch of green peppers to supplement for the salsa. And then while I was there, I found marked down food. So this was not marked, this was on sale. This was 79 cents a pound for split chicken breasts. And I thought this would be really good to make my Frank's hot sauce chicken and chips that I make for once in a while for a meal. The kids love it, so I picked up the Frank's hot sauce because we had already gone through all of that. And then they had chicken legs. This is amazing, 25 cents a pound. So I picked up that package. They had this, I guess you'd call it a chuck steak or a cube steak. This was right around $1 a pound. And then they had these shish, I guess you call them shish kebabs. They had chicken and then they had beef. They both looked wonderful. So I picked those up. These are normally, look at the price on these. These are normally $11.59, $7.99 a pound. This had $10 off. So I paid $1.59 for all of this. And that was the same thing was here. So I have the grill, not the grill, I have our fireplace going, and I'm going to grill this later on this afternoon. Then I found all of these pork loins, country style, and there was 3 packages, which means that's going to be enough for our family. So as you can tell, it got crazy all of a sudden because I found a bunch of these markdowns, which we have, I picked up. We've eaten most of the chicken that Art purchased a couple weeks ago, and we're just down to it was time. Let's just put it that way. It was time to visit the grocery store, and finding the markdowns was very helpful to our food budget. So what I'm going to be doing this afternoon is cooking up a lot of this food, because when they're marked down, they usually need to be used by today's date, which is fine. I had time today to do it. So I'm going to take care of the country pork loins right now. I'm going to do those in my Instant Pot. And I found this recipe online. And if it comes out good, I will post the link in the description below so you guys can check it out. But I thought I'm not going to have time to put these in the oven right now. So this is going to go in the Instant Pot. I'm going to cook the chicken legs right now, so we'll have those for lunch tomorrow. And I made a homemade rub to put on the pork loins. I guess, yeah, the country style pork loins. I can't keep all the names straight. I'm going to try to finish up getting that salsa done. And then I'm on call tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm meeting with a junior because we're trying to expand that program. And so our team is working with this junior member. Hopefully we can incorporate them into our program. And Art had to run to one of the local school districts and drop off all of the school repairs because it's that time of year. So I haven't had a chance to pick up the camera until now to film, but that's what's going on. I know for some of you might say it's not very crazy, you know, that's just your everyday life. But for us running, we don't run a lot. We accomplish a lot in our days, but we don't necessarily go out in the van running here, there, and thither and yon. But today is going to be one of those days. So Art took the little girls are sleeping. The older kids went with Art, and I'm going to try to get all this done before they get back. That's my goal. Put this on high for 45 minutes and call it good. Closed up. Okay, we're good to go. Next is the chicken legs. One of the things I think about with motherhood and how it has changed with the more children I've had is I often relate to my life as a game of Tetris. If you guys remember Tetris when you were growing up, it's where the bricks come down, they're all different shapes, and the object of the game is to put the right shape in the right spot and complete the rows. When you complete the rows drop off and more blocks fall down. And the object is to finish the game before all of your blocks hit the top and you run out of room. And I feel like that's my life in a nutshell right now. I'm not necessarily a huge list fan just because I don't take the time to do it. But every day, usually before I go to bed and then when I first wake up, I have this mental list of the things that I would like to accomplish for the day. And it's just a matter of how do I get everything done in the course of the day, keeping in mind my priorities being the kids, the house, and things such as that. And so today, my priority certainly was not necessarily going grocery shopping. However, it was on my list to make sure that my children were well fed, my house was in order. And so in this case, it took the place of actually going to Price Chopper, getting some food, and then spending the rest of my day cooking. And of course, that cooking takes place in all sorts of different ways, and then you have to think about what should get cooked first. Should it be the chicken, or should it be the pork ribs? Which one takes longer? And it's just constantly, every day, I'm thinking, what should be done first? What's the first priority, and what's next? This morning, the little girls, Lillian and Mary were in the office with me while I was doing some cleaning up and work in there. They were working on Play-Doh, and so my priority was obviously spending time with them, teaching them just basic things with Play-Doh and things like that, and spending time with them. So that's how I think motherhood has changed my life. Is I'm always thinking, what can I do with a few minutes here? Should it be the laundry? What needs to go out in what order? And some days you fail, and some days aren't as successful as other days. But I think the thing that I always come back to is tomorrow is a fresh day, and God's grace is sufficient. And what is to be done will be done. And those things that don't need to be done, well, they will still be there tomorrow, waiting for me. These are all seasoned. We'll bake those up, let those cook, And then on to the salsa. Over the past couple weeks, I've thought often about how this being motherhood is just, this is what I've always imagined, this is always what I've dreamed, this has always been what I expected of motherhood, and I can't imagine anything else for me. And I know that what works for me is so different than what works for other people, but I could not imagine my life any different. To think about the things that I thought about when I was younger, what I expected motherhood to be like, what I expected out of myself. Honestly, this is exactly where I know I am meant to be. I'm so happy to be. And we are so ecstatic about welcoming another baby into our life. Yes, it's crazy. And I just want to encourage all of you moms. I don't know how many of you watching this are in sort of the same position I am in life, where you have little ones running around. I just want to encourage you to remember that everybody's life looks different. And so I don't want you to compare your life to mine or what I do in a day, because what works for me isn't going to work for everybody else, because this is my life, and this is where I'm supposed to be. And so today, if you're watching this, I want you to take heart and do what God wants you to do. And that's being a wife, a mother, and whatever else you have for your priorities, your husband has for your priorities, so that you can be successful in what you're supposed to do. And I think that took me a long time to realize that I'm not supposed to be like so-and-so. I'm not supposed to be like this famous movie star, and I'm not supposed to have the perfect body, the perfect bikini body. You know, that's not who I'm meant to be. And you know, I think as women, we face a lot of pressure in today's generation of having to deal with this stigma of who we should be. And the reality is, we need to be who we're supposed to be, not who the other person is supposed to be. And so I'm encouraging all of you to take heart. If you're in a similar life circumstance, even if you're not, be happy where you are right now. And don't compare yourself to anyone else, because that's not where you're meant to be. And find joy in what you're supposed to do. I can tell you, I am so happy to be able to do this crazy thing called my life.